What do Steve Wozniak, the Apple billionaire, Johnny Depp, Steven Seagal, and Adriana Lima have in common? They all have citizenship by merit in Serbia, this beautiful country that I am also a citizen. Let's discuss why it might be the perfect country for you as a high net worth individual. If I could describe Serbia in one sentence, it would be safe, beautiful, traditional. There's no illegals. There's barely any illegals, and the illegals that come here pass on to other European nations, and European, but not under the European Union. Serbia has been developing extremely well over the past years. We have seen billions poured in from countries like the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, obviously Russia and China, as well as the European Union. If you go to the airport here in Belgrade, which has been completely renovated, and by 2027, when we have the Expo, every year I come to Serbia, the airport is better and better and better. I first came here exactly 10 years ago in 2015, and it was a terrible experience. The roads were terrible. It was a rough place to be in Belgrade, Serbia. Now it is a properly developed place, and it is developing more and more. Obviously, you still have a lot of this old architecture from Yugoslavian times. You have a lot of bombed out buildings, sadly as well, because of the NATO and US bombing. And overall, you still have that vibe of the past. But it's modernizing extremely quickly, specifically with these foreign investments. And all these countries that are seeing Serbia as a strategic location, which is number 2, basically a Central European location. You can go to Austria in 1 hour. You can go to Poland in an hour and a half. You can go to Germany in 2 hours. You can go to Spain in 3 hours. Very strategic location to access Europe, as well as access other places. You can go to the United States. You can go to China. Straight from Serbia, you can go to Dubai. And you have great connectivity without, again, being under the European Union. And that provides you more privacy, more freedom, because the government tends to not really care what you do on a day-by-day basis. You can protest, you can say whatever you want. We've seen these crazy protests, which I want to say have been exaggerated by the media. I was talking to a British person the other day, and they were saying how if you look at the media in Britain, if you look at the media in the UK, if you look at the media in the United States, you would think that Serbia is about to go to war. And it's not. Every time I come here, it's very peaceful. People are really friendly. I absolutely love being here. Yes, you have the protests. Yes, you have this government tension and not really trusting the government, this distrust of government, which is very particular of Serbia and the whole Balkan region. These people don't trust their government, which is something that millionaires look for. They look for societies and they look for countries where the government doesn't have a full control of their citizens, that tells them what to do, that tells them how to use their money, that tells them how they have to upload their ID to use ChatGPT and all these different websites. They want to know everything you do. No, Serbia is the complete opposite of that. So if you want to go away from a country that wants to control all your life, Serbia is the perfect place without sacrificing a good lifestyle, luxury, location, connectivity, very traditional. The fertility rate, although it's not super high, it's also not super low. It's around 1.6. Right now, there's a lot of families with kids, and millionaires and billionaires look at this. What is the future? How is it developing? How is the safety level? Which is one of the most important things. When you have a lot of money, the first thing you look for is a safe country. That's why I love Japan. Whenever I go to Japan, I'm super happy because it's extremely safe. That's why people love Dubai, because it's safe. That's why people love Poland, because it's safe. Although you are getting more illegals from Germany and the Lithuanian border, and sadly, being part of the European Union means that you kind of have to deal with these problems of that connectivity within the European Union and Schengen, and you're getting more illegals, whereas with Serbia, they control their own immigration. They're getting illegals that want to cross through Serbia and end up eventually in the UK and Germany, but it is their problem at the end of the day, not Serbia's problem. Belgrade is truly becoming a tier 1 city slowly. You're seeing these developments like Belgrade waterfront. It is extremely luxurious. You're seeing more and more luxury brands coming to Belgrade, more and more luxurious hotels and developments for apartments, and people pouring millions and billions of dollars into construction, and they're really cleaning up the city. That's the best thing I can basically tell you, is that they're cleaning up the city and it's developing extremely well. And also a lot of businesses are moving their operations to Serbia. I have Serbian employees. I believe in hiring people in Serbia, and Serbia actually ranks as the number 1 country in the world with the most foreign direct investment jobs created. Meaning that out of all the countries around the world where people go and invest in a country and hire people, Serbia ranks number 1. What does that mean? That companies come from other countries, from the United States, from Germany. They hire Serbians with higher salaries as well. The people that I employ in Serbia, they make 3 or 5 times what the local person makes for the same amount of time worked, for 8 hours a day. And they obviously have more spending power. They have more ability to buy real estate. And overall, it develops the country extremely well into the future. People have more money, and people have no incentive to leave the country as well. Because obviously Serbia has a lot of problems with people leaving for better jobs. If you're getting foreign direct investment jobs, that means that you're staying in your country and growing the country with the money that you're receiving from that foreign company. It's a beautiful thing to see, and I think it's going to continue because Serbians work extremely hard. They speak English as well, at least in Belgrade. If you go outside of Belgrade, English might be so-so. Although the countryside is extremely beautiful, properties in the countryside are extremely beautiful. You get some amazing views. You don't have the beach, although you have Montenegro, which you can easily go to by car or by plane, for example. But in Serbia itself, you have amazing mountains, you have beautiful land that you can buy. And although you're not going to see English in the countryside that much, you're going to see it in Belgrade. If you want to learn more about Serbian citizenship by merit and other citizenship by merit programs around the world, feel free to schedule a call with the link in the description. Obviously, you need to contribute to a country, you need to build ties to that country, and you need to be a high net worth individual. This isn't about contributing $5,000 and getting citizenship. This is about large amounts. So please only book a call if you are serious. Another factor that millionaires and billionaires look for is low taxation and low regulation. Although I do have to say that banks in Serbia are really strict with AML because they have to do what the European Union in some level push them to do. And they have to be strong with the source of the money. So it's not like some countries where you can just take a bunch of money in cash, buy a property, sell that property, do whatever you want. Because if you're ever dealing with a bank, they will ask where you got your money. This is really all over the world. And any country that doesn't do this at some point will do it in the future. The taxes are low, around 10 to 15%. And the government doesn't chase you down for taxes, especially if you're a non-tax resident. If you don't spend 6 months per year or more in Serbia, the government isn't going to chase you down for how much taxes you pay. And specifically through the citizenship by merit, citizenship by exception route, where you get citizenship through your contributions to the country, you don't actually have to live here more than 6 months per year. So you could literally be a citizen of Serbia, employing Serbians without actually paying taxes on your worldwide income in Serbia because you're not living here full time. If you are dealing with local Serbian banks, you would be happy to know that there is no CRS, Common Reporting Standard, especially if you're a Serbian citizen. So let's say you get Serbian citizenship by exception, you contribute to the country, you get a Serbian bank account. Obviously there's AML requirements, but that bank account won't be reported to other banks or other countries around the world, so you can have that privacy. You're not going to evade regulation. You're not going to be a US citizen that doesn't file their US taxes, anything like that. We are not evading any regulations illegally. We are optimizing our freedom, our privacy, our taxes, our lifestyle legally. So make sure you do everything legally. But if you want that privacy, you don't want some other government, you don't want some other institution knowing how much money you have in the bank, how much money you transact, who you transact with, then it's great that you have that option with no CRS banking, low taxes as well, relatively stable but strict banking on the AML sense, And you can also cash out crypto legally in Serbia. You will need to pay a tax, 15% tax, but you can also cash out potentially millions of dollars to Serbian banks or a Serbian business as long as you pay that local tax rate. If you become a Serbian citizen, then obviously the Serbian passport is going to be part of your portfolio. You will have a Serbian passport to travel. It is a strategic passport that you can use. For example, you have access to the Schengen area, and you also have access to Russia and China. And a lot of people see these as a strategic way of accessing both sides of the world, as well as other countries. I've been to Japan on my Serbian passport. I've been to the Middle East on my Serbian passport. I've been to Chile on my Serbian passport. You have over 138 countries and territories, and it is improving fast. Over the last 10 years, we've gained more countries than any other passport out there, and we're gaining more every single year. In the next 5 to 10 years, it could be a top tier passport with access to over 170 countries and territories. And for most people that are getting Serbian citizenship by merit, by exception, they already have a good passport that they can travel on. They just need it for diversification. They're already European. They want something outside of the European Union. They're a US citizen. They have something that they can potentially renounce their citizenship on because you have a country that you can actually live in. A country where you actually have naturalization certificates and a birth certificate issued by the Serbian police, and not just a St. Kitts and Nevis passport, not just a Caribbean passport where we're seeing that we're really second-class citizens. And I have all of these citizenships. I have the St. Kitts, I have the Serbian, and for me personally, this is what I see on a day-by-day basis, is that in St. Kitts and in the Caribbean, we're second-class citizens. In a place like Serbia, you're a full citizen. You can open a bank account, you can open a business, you can hire people, you can buy real estate. You don't have CRS banking, so you have basically a non-CRS bank account. You can cash out your crypto. You can actually live here, buy property here. It's a very livable country. So it provides so many more benefits than just getting a nice passport, which is anyway going to improve in the future. European, but not part of the grips of the European Union. If you want to see why I would rather have this citizenship than get a citizenship by investment from the Caribbean, you can check out this video right here, why I, if I had the choice, would rather get Serbian citizenship than any Caribbean program. Check out this video right here.